Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike here at Game From Scratch, and the ongoing Epic versus Apple versus Epic saga continues with, yes, Apple now suing Epic Games in reasons that I can only say, what? Huh? What? Anyways, yeah, a bit of an ongoing story if you've not been paying attention to this one at all. This started back in August 14th, but if you were paying attention, this started well before that. This was a premeditated move on Epic's part, but basically, in August 14th, Apple yanked Fortnite off of their App Store. This triggered losses to Epic Games, which gave them cause. This is one of those things in the legal system. You cannot sue for something unless you have been personally harmed. So obviously, Epic Games set up Apple to pull their product. And this is all basically around the concept of in-app purchases. And what Epic, in the heart of it, if you take away all the fanboyism and all the other crap that's involved in this, at the heart of it, what Epic Games are arguing is that Apple are leveraging their monopoly, which is the App Store on Apple devices, which represents like 1 billion devices out there apparently, and is the only gateway onto those devices. So they're saying that that is a monopoly, and that in itself isn't necessarily illegal, but what they're doing is they're leveraging that monopoly to enforce or to create another monopoly, which is their use of their own in-app purchases. That is what Epic Games are ultimately saying is illegal here. So they have their own in-app store. Their app store is totally fine. They can have their own rules on it. It's when they force you to use their own purchase process, or sort of like if they made you use Visa for your App Store purchases, that's where the monopolistic, that's where you get into trouble with the Sherman Act. So that is the fundamental legalese behind this one. So that's where it all started off. Obviously, Epic Games had a PR scheme ready to go from day one. So when they put this feature in where you could buy V-Bucks on the App Store, they knew this was going to happen. They were ready with the lawsuit. This was planned. And then what happened is Apple went kind of thermonuclear in their response. So basically, yeah, they pulled Fortnite from the App Store, which was pretty much what was expected. But then they also yanked Epic Games' development account, which basically would have had the effect of yanking Unreal Engine as well, which was hilarious, because if you watch this video from The Empire Strikes Back, I actually have this clip of Tim Cook saying, "We never retaliate against companies," which is also what I think we call B and S. But hey, I'm not going to get into my opinions on Tim Cook in this channel. So anyways, let's just know that Apple retaliated and retaliated hard. So not only was Fortnite pulled, but they pulled all of Epic Games' stuff from the App Store, and they yanked the development keys, which would have made it impossible for Unreal Engine to support, Epic Games to support Unreal Engine. So Unreal Engine developers working on macOS or targeting iOS or macOS would have all suffered under this move as well, to which the saga continues. Epic Games have filed an appeal, and in that appeal, they came back and they basically said that they're kind of doing overkill here. They can't go this. They acted too severely, and the judge agreed with this. Basically, the judge says, yes, you can retaliate against Epic Games, but you cannot retaliate against Epic Games' customers, which is us, the Unreal Engine developers, people in our space. So game developers won that day. Basically, I like this judge. She seems to know what technology is all about. And she basically said, yes, it's fine, Apple. You can go after Epic Games, but you can't go after Unreal Engine developers, which at the end of the day, I think that's kind of what everybody wanted to see, at least from a development side of things. So us indie developers or big game developers that happen to have been committed to the Unreal Engine environment didn't just get screwed by this whole move. So then we lead to today, because yes, of course, a lawsuit can't just have one lawsuit, 2 lawsuits, 3 lawsuits. No, we need more. And that's what's happened today. It's basically Apple are now suing Epic Games. Yep, it's going the other way. Now, this one is, it's crazy to me, to be honest. I don't know how to put this into words other than the ones that involve swearing. It's insane. And let's put it this way. If you're going to read this document, which I will link in the linked article down below, if you want to get into what everything is all about, this is basically Apple's response to Epic Games' lawsuit. And if you don't like Apple don't read it, because you will hate Apple when you are done reading it. The verbiage, the wording, the things they've chosen to say, and if you're coming at this from a tech perspective, which is what this channel is all about. This is a channel for game developers, not gamers, not hopefully fanboys. This is about people that are trying to develop games. When you read some of the verbiage they're using in this lawsuit, you're going, oh, that is so disingenuous. So there are things here that I found really, really frustrating. As someone who is progressively growing to dislike Apple more and more in the post-Steve Jobs, in the Tim Cook era, and this just didn't help. So again, if you're kind of in the same boat and you're not liking Apple much, don't read this lawsuit. But I'm going to point out a couple of things I found interesting in this one. First off, we've got here, they're linking in Epic, backed by tech giant Tencent. Now that one's a bit of a stretch, because Tencent invested once in Apple like 6 or 7 years ago. So Apple's making it sound like this is Tencent attacking their app business model so that they can, have their own store going on, which, yeah, okay. Then we've got here, this one is where if you're a developer, you're going to sit there and go, what? So it says, by all accounts, Epic has taken advantage of Apple's support and services more than any other app developer for the past 2 years. What? Fortnite has only been in the App Store since 2018. In that short time, Fortnite has used over 400 of Apple's unique APIs, or application programming interfaces, and classes such as Metal, as well as different versions of App Software Development Kit, has been reviewed more than 200 times by the app reviewers, has pushed more than 140 unique updates to Apple's customers each time Epic released a new Fortnite. Apple put it in the spotlight, provided free promotion. Free? Wait a minute, if you're doing a 30% take, I don't know how I'd call that free. But anyways, what really burns my butt here, you have to use Apple's unique APIs. They force you to. You have to use Metal. Why do you have to use Metal? Because they deprecated support for OpenGL, and they never supported the open standard Vulkan. Basically, Apple made this little walled garden, and where you want to use it or play in it, you have to use their API. So to word this documentation or this lawsuit like Apple is taking advantage of these APIs we provided, no, we're all forced to use your crap, Apple. This is your platform. This is what you force on us, including an upcoming login system that they're going to force down people's throats. To highlight this, like it's kind of a win for Epic Games to have access to proprietary APIs that nobody in the industry wants to use. We would all much rather use Vulkan. Anyways, this one kind of, again, as a game developer, ticked me off. Now, if you're not a game developer, you're basically an Apple fanboy or an Epic fanboy, it's not going to change your position on it. But as a game developer, this wording is just so dishonest. Anyways, so we move on from there. Okay, this one kind of went out of order. We've got here, Epic fired the shots in this dispute. It's willful, brazen, unlawful conduct cannot be left unchecked, damn it. Neither Mr. Sweeney's self-righteous and self-interested demands nor the scale of Epic's business can justify Epic's deliberate contractual breach, its tortuous conduct, or its unfair business practice. The court should hold Epic to its contractual promises, award Apple compensatory and punitive damages, and enjoin Epic from engaging in further unfair business practices. Apple, piss off. That's all I can really sum that up. But there's no way you're going to get monetary damages here, because there's only two ways you get damaged here. You got to prove that you lost money somehow, and you pulled them off their store. So there's the thing. You're not making your commission off of Fortnite because you made the decision to take them off the store. So you're not losing money in that regard. You immediately took them down. So it's not like they were running this store and making all kinds of money while this was going on. So any sales that they made on your platform, we're talking a matter of minutes worth of V-Bucks sales. So yeah, maybe you can sue for that amount right there. And truth of the matter is, they're only going to damage you. And here's the truth of this. If Epic wins this lawsuit, there will be massive damages to Apple because their walled garden falls down. There will be competing stores like you do see on other platforms, like you do see in Google. Now, the interesting question is, will this have ramifications into the console world? And that's a different world. Some people argue that it's different because basically they're recouping the costs, the sunk costs of the hardware over the commissions out of the store. I don't know how that holds up legally, but this could definitely have impact on the way that the stores work for Xbox and PlayStation going forward, or Nintendo Switch, or whatever. But yeah, that is that. Then this one also kind of struck my interest. And actually, I kind of really like this idea. I hate in-app purchases. I think most gamers hate in-app purchases. And funny enough, Epic wants to change the way that would have dire consequences for the App Store ecosystem. In its motion for a preliminary injunction, Epic boldly suggested that Apple monetizes the App Store by charging a regressive per-download fee, leaving consumers and developers on the hook to pay for what otherwise would be billions of free app downloads. Hey, if we moved away from no upfront costs and onwards to IAP, like, purgatory, I'm fully in on that 100%. I hate what has become the free-to-play standard. I would love to go back to just paying a per price for applications. Apple takes its cut off the top. Good. Fine with me. Again, remember, the illegality here is tying one monopoly to another. So not the App Store, not charging a commission in the App Store, it's the charging for in-app purchases on top of all that. So Apple could really get around this all by saying, all right, no more in-app purchases, the price is the price is the price. And my goodness, as a consumer, oh, I would love that. But they make so much money off in-app purchases. So do Epic, so do everyone else. So that particular blight is going to stay with us. But hey, I would absolutely love this to happen. Now, interestingly here also, is they're insinuating that Tim Sweeney spoke to them and actually asked for a side deal. And there's no evidence that this is actually true, but yeah, that's where we're at. And then the other thing that kind of came out of this isn't really related to this lawsuit, but basically Google came out and said, yeah, we want my Latin is not good, sua sponte, I'll call that. Sounded Spanish, actually, but judicial referral asking several judges not to combine their ongoing case with Epic Games with the Apple one. And I get that, because you know what? Google really kind of wants Epic to win, and Google really doesn't want Apple to win. But the Apple lawsuit against, the Epic Games lawsuit against Apple is a vastly different argument than it is against Google, because Google has alternative ecosystems, alternative app stores. You can bring in other things. So the walled garden aspect, the monopoly, the leveraging one monopoly to enforce another monopoly isn't really happening in this case. So really, those lawsuits shouldn't be enjoined. But basically, Google has basically straight out asked for that to happen. So that's where we stand. Epic is being sued now by Apple, asking for the damages that, I honestly, it's not going anywhere. They didn't lose any money here, and any money they have lost, Apple self-inflicted here. Now, again, if Epic wins this, Apple is going to lose all kinds of money. And yeah, so they're going to fight this with everything they got. But this lawsuit, it's pretty frivolous, to be honest. But if you come in here, if you want to go through all of this, there is a lot to read. Again, if you are not a huge fan of Apple to start with, you're going to find wordage like, following Epic's open, admitted, and deliberate breach of its contractual obligations and the cold-blooded launch of its hotfix. Yeah, there's a lot of that kind of stuff in here. So yeah, the lawsuit is going to keep going. So you know my opinion on this. I would love to hear what yours is in the comments down below. And I know this is sort of heated for some people. Let's try and keep it as civil as possible. Unless, of course, you just want to slam your head against the wall over and over and over again. Which, again, hey, feel free. So yeah, love to hear what you think. Talk to you all later. Goodbye.